So, what services you have selected finally?
IPS.
IPS.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay, so hello and welcome everyone in today's very special session with very special guest with us. And first of all, many congratulations, Chandrakant, for your
Thank you, sir.
phenomenal success in civil services as well as in Grade B exam. And you can be the poster boy for all those students who are, all those aspirants who are preparing for UPSC as well as Grade B exam. Right. So basically, Grade B exam, lot of aspirants who are preparing for the UPSC, they also prepare for the Grade B, and there are a lot of aspirants who are preparing for the Grade B. They are also thinking about to write this civil services exam. So in this session, basically, what we are going to do, we are going to discuss with you and how you have prepared for the both exams, and how students can who are preparing for the Grade B, they can prepare for UPSC, and those who are preparing for the UPSC, they can seriously take this exam. Right. So
Yes,
first
sir.
of all, just tell us ki how you have prepared for entire exam, this Grade B exam, to all of us. Then we will take the questions.
Okay, sir. Sir, I applied for RBI after UPSC mains exam in 2021. So after that, after my application only, I started preparing for Grade B exam. Hello,
Yeah.
can I audible, sir?
Yes,
Okay.
you are audible. Yes, you are audible.
Yes, sir. Initially, for the phase one, there are three subjects: QRE plus general awareness. Uh, for the quants reasoning, I was reasonably well aware, sir. So most of the things I done within 1 week time. These whole two subjects, quants and reasoning, and I practiced some of the questions which was asked in the RBI grade B previously. That's it, sir. And for English section, I seen some reading comprehension passages and uh, jumbled sentences are asking frequently. So I practiced some of these things, and I sent for sentence correction. I didn't done much, sir, because it is on the spot of exam we have to decide sentence is correct or which is not. So I left it, and these three all together I completed in 10 days, sir. English, quants, and reasoning. And when it comes to the GA part, in GA part we can divide the GA into three four sections. So first one is the general awareness, which includes the sports news, regional national news, regional news. This I covered it from the Adopt 247 magazine for the past 4 to 5 months before the exam, and the remaining things such as the Indian banking system, Indian financial system. These things I covered through my UPSC preparations, such as the monetary policies of RBI, the various regulatory bodies. These things will be sufficient for the general awareness session, and I think so, sir. The last year, the Indian financial system and Indian banking system weightage has increased in the general awareness session from 20 marks to 30 marks. So no one can spare this in the phase one. So my advice to the students is to prepare Indian financial system and Indian banking system before phase two only, so that they can grab another 20 marks in the general awareness session, and it will help in the finance part of the phase two. And coming to the phase two, where crack grade B had immensely helped me, sir. First, when it comes to the economics and social issues part, the static economy, I was reasonably covered in the UPSC General Studies 3 paper. So when those students who want to cover specifically for RBI Grade B, I will recommend the Vivek Singh Indian Economy book, which is sufficient for the Indian economy portion. And for social issues portion, there is high uh, there, we need to cover Indian political system, urbanization, women movements. These things and all will take lot of time to prepare. So I would suggest you to students to prepare from the crack grade B material, which itself will be sufficient. Those who are well aware of these things, there is no need to prepare anything static, sir. When it comes to the current affairs section of the ESI, every student can focus on the crack grade B material, which includes the schemes, reports and indices, and the GDP data. These three constitute 90% of the current affairs questions in the final exam. So, for the ESI part, that's it, sir. And when it comes to finance and management, in finance, we can divide the portion into two halves, sir. One is the regulatory bodies. One needs to decently aware of what is RBI, what actually RBI will do, and prepare some 5 6 bullet points so that if the question is on descriptive type, they can answer about regulatory bodies. For example, this year they asked about SEBI, NABARD, descriptive type of answer. So in the exam there is no time to think. So if they ask about NABARD, NABARD is a statutory body established in 1982, and then one can list the functions and working of the NABARD. This is the regulatory bodies portion, and the other part of finance is primary market and secondary market, which includes the bond market, forex market. But the theme behind the primary and secondary market is same. So and the remaining topics are derivatives, inflation, union budget, triple P, alternative sources of financing. These things can be prepared from the crack grade B materials. And coming to the management,
Sorry to interrupt. Actually, some students are asking the questions, different questions. So, my humble request to all of the people who are in this session, let Chandrakanth first complete whatever he's explaining how to prepare for phase one. He already explained about phase one. Now he's explaining about phase two, right? So once he is going to complete how he did, right, then one by one we will take your questions, right? So first of all, please listen very carefully what he is explaining about his experience and how he did all those things. Okay, then definitely all of the questions which you are framing here, we will take your questions and accordingly we will answer your questions. Okay, so please wait, let him complete first. Yeah, Chandrakant, please continue.
yes, sir.
Yeah.
The finance can be done as I said before. And coming to the management section, in management, roughly the questions will range from what is management and its functions, then the organizational development and organizational change,
Hmm.
motivation, personality, leadership,
Hmm.
corporate governance, and communication. If one can study from the crack material, the management portion can be very well covered within 5 to 7 days, sir, whole management portion. The additional point I would like to mention that the RBI pattern has changed to descriptive. If one can observe the previous year papers, the descriptive questions are specifically focused on certain aspects of the syllabus, such as in finance, the important things like union budget, triple P, then the regulatory bodies. And when it comes to management, the important questions comes from the communication, types of leadership, then this organizational change and development. When it comes to the ESI, the descriptive questions comes from the sustainable development, poverty, employment, and globalization and its effects on the India as well as the world. Then about the women movements, urbanization and its side effects. So these are 10 topics where the students can especially prepare for the descriptive part. And then students can also remember that they need to answer two 15 markers and two 10 markers in the descriptive section. So if they prepare these topics, they can easily answer four questions out of the six questions given in the exam. And when it comes to English, I didn't prepare, sir, for English. English consists of the essay, precise, and comprehension. The things I remembered in English is in comprehension, one needs to use their own language to express the answer, and in essay and precise, the sentences should be short and crisp, and there should be no grammatical errors. In both essay and precise, one needs to stick to the word limit. This is about phase two. And in interview part, there is one document about RBI working and functions. I think it is roughly around 200 pages. If one can go through that document, it will give the good idea about RBI. Most of the questions can be derived from that document. And the second part is what's new section in the RBI website. That will help what is going on in the present days. And the third part is their independent profile. Individual profile will help to cover the interview comprehensively.
Okay. Okay, so Chandrasekhar, first question from my side for me, because we interact a lot of the students, and they have this question in their mind ki, how to manage both, means preparation of UPSC and grade B, how to manage both.
Yes, sir. Sir,
So,
here I would like to take whether they start preparing for UPSC and then started for RBI. There are two categories, sir. One starts from UPSC and then start preparing for RBI, and the second category is one started with RBI and then migrated to UPSC. I will address these
mhm,
both, sir. In the first category, if one started with UPSC and then comes to RBI, sir, those who completed their UPSC preparation, they have the good edge on the ESI section of the phase two, and then certain topics in finance such as inflation, PPP, financial inclusion, and then the regulatory bodies, global financial crisis. So most of the 70% of the phase two syllabus are very well covered in the UPSC portion. So
okay.
they can rely on the UPSC portion. And for
Mhm,
phase one, they need to, if one is not good in the QRE part,
mhm,
one needs to take certain mock test, like from any free websites or something, so that they can grab the quants reasoning English with in reasonable time. They can score good marks in these things. And for general awareness part, as I said, they can cover 4 to 5 months of the current affairs and a brief history of the banking and Indian financial system and terminologies in Indian banking. So
okay.
this is with UPSC candidates preparing for RBI. And then the second category, RBI candidates preparing for UPSC.
Mhm,
Initially, they have the thing like they started preparing for RBI, and later if they want to migrate to UPSC,
mhm,
they can make these things such as the Indian economy, which they've started preparing in RBI as the base thing, and then they can look for the other things such as the Indian polity and
mhm,
Indian history gradually, sir. So UPSC
okay.
preparation will take 1 year of time.
Mhm,
So they while preparing for RBI, they can take the 1 2 hours daily, and then they can prepare the specific topics such as history, economy,
mhm,
and then ethics and values, Indian security. So
mhm.
these 1 2 hours additional time can help in preparing for UPSC.
Okay. Okay, so let's start taking the question one by one.
Yes, sir.
The very first question is from Pawan. Sir, I'm confused regarding how to and from where to cover the current affairs for phase one and phase two. So basically, this question is about current affairs. So how to go for current affairs for phase one and phase two?
Yes, sir. Sir, for phase one, Uh, the current affairs session can be divided into certain parts, such as the GA, general awareness, sports, this national news, regional news. These things can be covered from a ATA 247 magazine 4 to 5 months before the exam. The
Magazine.
remaining magazine, like it will
Okay.
be hardly 15 to 20 pages per month. It will cover most of the current affairs, and then the remaining things such as the about the banking and financial system, and then the terminologies of Indian banking. These things they can cover it from the crack grade B phase 2 material.
Okay.
And then the other portion is the static current affairs, such as the where is this stadium is located and where is this volcano is located. They can find it on Google as like they can type RBI Grade B static general awareness. They can find some PDFs and all. They can look for that part specifically. I think it is very lesser. Only 5 questions will come from the static GA. So I think they need to cover Indian banking and then this current affairs of ATA 247 for phase one. When it
Okay.
comes to phase two, uh, the ESI part has three types of current affairs, sir. One is reports and indices, and GDP data, and schemes. These three will cover 90% of the current affairs of ESA. So these three are very well covered in the crack grade B course, sir. I think those who prepared from that crisp material, they can answer some 80 to 90% of the questions which are asked in the exam. That itself will give them 30 to 35 in the objective part of the essay, which is good score. And for finance, I think there is very less current affairs questions they are asking finance. So nothing to worry about finance current affairs. If they want to cover, that also is available in the crack grade B course.
Okay, so I think by this you have not only answered Pawan's question, but also the other question we could have asked how to prepare ASI current affairs and ASI current affairs from the static part. All of you have answered. Now, next question is from Shivajit. He is asking, sir, hi, sir, how to prepare for phase two descriptive?
Sir, as I said, in phase two descriptive, uh, one needs to write 2 15 markers and 2 10 markers, and they will be given 3 15 markers, 3 10 markers. So they had the choice of questions, like they can pick 2 questions from three given. So they can selectively prepare the topics from the syllabus given. For example, in ESI, the first topic is growth and development. In this, mostly the questions will come from poverty, employment, and then sustainable development. They can prepare like what is poverty. They can have the definition of poverty. Something like Amartya Sen defined poverty like this. We can have the definition, and then what are the causes of poverty, and what is the impact of the poverty, and what government had done, any schemes such as the Manrega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, such schemes, and why we are not able to reduce the poverty till date. This like if we prepare like this, one topic is over about poverty. Then employment. In employment also, what is the current employment situation in India, whether India is underemployed or unemployed. So why India is having unemployment at 5% or 6%? What are the causes, and what one needs to be done for reducing the unemployment? And similarly for sustainable development, what are the India's Paris targets, NDCs of India? So, and then what Indian schemes such as the Solar Mission of India has been contributing for the NDCs. Then recently, India has given Panchamrita targets in sustainable development. So in this way, like three topics from the first theme of the syllabus, and in the second theme, they can prepare like what is the current situation of agriculture? Has India able to achieve the doubling of the farmers' income? What are the issues in achieving the doubling of farmers' income? Then the second topic, like, such as the manufacturing, and why Indian manufacturing is being contributed to 15% or 18% till date. Why is not able to contribute 25% or 30% as like European economies? What are the bottlenecks in the manufacturing processes of India? So this topic is over. And then the third theme in globalization,
Hmm.
what do you mean by globalization? Whether it has benefited India. In benefited means how it benefited. Like people can explore the social dimension, like what it had impacted on the family kinship, and the next economic dimension, like whether it improved the agriculture, manufacturing, and what its implication on the political dimension, whether the political setups of the traditional India has changed to the um, like international scenarios. And then the international institutions like IMF and World Bank, how the IMF has been forcing the developing countries to liberalize their regimes. And the final topic is women movements, and then urbanization and social movements. So some in the first ESA paper we are hardly left with 10 to 12 topics, sir. If we
Okay.
prepare these 10 to 12 topics, definitely we can answer the four questions, which is after omitting the choice we can easily answer four questions. Similarly, in the finance also we have some 10 to 12 topics, sir. For example, first regulatory bodies like SEBI, NABARD, RBI, etc. And then the second topic, global financial crisis and its impact. Third one is the triple P. Fourth one, financial inclusion. Fifth one, union budget is very important, sir. I think every year they are asking in one or other form the union budget questions are being there in the paper. And then in the management section, one can prepare for the communication, like how the organizational change is being happening, and types of leadership. These are the certain important topics. If we prepare these topics, we can easily handle the descriptive part, sir. Remaining things we can just prepare from the objective perspective.
Okay. Chandrakant, I miss one question from my side is, do you think quantity versus quality in descriptive is going to matter? Because in on website, for example, you have started with the topic of poverty. So
Yes, sir.
poverty, a normal definition, a definition given by Amartya Sen, where he has emphasized on relative
Yes, sir.
deprivation, and it is not just about food. So, do you think
Yes.
that the quality of the material which students are preparing, it is going to have an impact, or just a
Yes, sir.
normal means content is sufficient?
No, sir. Like if one writes the Amartya Sen definition, it will implies the credibility of the answer. So
Yes.
definitely, the student will get half mark or 1 mark extra, which is very huge in the competitive exam. So, and then for the quality perspective, one needs to follow a good material, sir, or
Yes.
they need to write their own notes in a by following various websites. And then the second thing is
Actually, huh.
like they can,
Yeah, yeah,
hi,
please.
sir.
Yeah, please
So
tell me,
they
please tell me.
they can they can keep the funda that for the 10 markers question, if they write in point format, they need to write at least 10 points, so that they presented the maximum dimensions in the spectrum. And then for the 15 markers they need to write 15 points, so it will give the examiner that this student has covered this small topic in various dimensions, so he can get the good marks, sir. And then the quality comes from this adding this thinkers notion like Amartya Sen, and then the
Yes. Gene
statistics,
Des, Amat Sen, all these are going
and
to
then
help.
quoting the reports like World Inequality Report, Oxfam reports. These things will add value to the answer. And conclusions also we can do with the Sustainable Development Goals. These things will add value to our answers.
Okay, actually, I asked this question specifically why? Because when I was taking the session here, one or two students asked me, "Ki, sir, why you are going in depth or means this kind of the extra definitions and all?" So I told them, "Ki, see, maybe what I am teaching here regarding, for example, monetary policy, that is maybe a simple question they are going to ask in part one, but in part two,
Yes,
if you have good knowledge and you have good content, it definitely is going to create a difference, right? But sometimes students feel that what I am saying is maybe yes or no, but when they'll get the example like the same words from you, that is going to create a
yes,
different impact. So that's why I purposefully
yes,
asked this thing to you. And second thing, as you have emphasized for the budget, from here I just want to announce for all the students that we are coming up with a special session for the budget. When the budget will be announced by the government, we will come a special session with the budget. Right, for all of the
yes,
students, it will be available. As he already mentioned, it is very important. So, okay, Chandrakant, let's take the next question. And that
yes, sir.
question is okay, you already answered regarding GA for phase one. Next questions is from Abhiraj. How crack grade B course helped you in your preparation? Please tell us.
Yes, sir. Sir, I taken crack grade B course roughly 10 to 12 days before my phase 2 exam. So,
Okay.
like actually, I didn't prepare for RBI grade B much because I was prepared for UPSC. So I
UPS.
given. Yes, sir. After applying only like last 10 days, I prepared for phase one.
Hmm.
Before phase one, in the last 10 days, I prepared for this thing. And after the result of the phase one, I started preparing, sir. So I
Okay.
taken 10 to 12 days before the exam only. I actually started preparing for phase two. In that limited time, crack grade B has given me good material, sir, because no other institute will match such crisp material for the both ESA and FM. So if one wants to cover the material and they want to revise multiple times, the crack grade B material is very much helpful, sir. And then I would like to emphasize that ESI current affairs, what one schemes, indexes, and reports, GDP data are specifically covered in the crack grade B, sir. Those things only I covered for the exam. Like GDP data, SAR has shared some 12 pages document, I think. In the 12 pages only, I think one paragraph question came, sir. It is four to five questions of 4 to 5 questions. So four twos are 8 marks. Easily, I had got, sir. And then schemes, they asked about PM Kisan and all. These things are there in the schemes document of crack grade. So
Okay.
it is easy to cover, sir.
Okay. And another question regarding current affairs. You already question is current affairs for phase one. Under 24/7 is enough.
So I prepared from Adda 24/7, sir. I don't know about other things because I seen like it is 15 to 20 pages material and I can easily cover within the 10 days of time which is available for my exam. So I seen it is very easy to cover. So I prepared from Adda 247.
Okay.
I think they are
Next,
covering most important current affairs, sir.
current affairs. Most important current affairs for phase one.
Uh,
Okay.
yes, sir.
And next question is how to manage phase one and phase two together.
Sir, phase one and phase two, if one is good enough in the quant reasoning and English, they can study for phase two, sir, first from starting onwards. And the last 1 month before the exam only, they can start focusing on the quant reasoning and English. If they are not confident in quant reasoning and English, sir, they can divide the time like. For the phase 2 they have to spend 40% of time and then phase 1 60% of time because most of the candidates will be eliminated in the phase 1 itself, sir. So one needs to give more time those who are weak in the quant reasoning and English, and then last 1 month specifically they need to devote it for quant reasoning and English, sir. Nothing from the
Okay.
phase 2 such as this ESI part can be dealt, management part can be dealt in the last 1 month, sir. Because
last month.
it is useless if one doesn't clear the phase
Hmm.
one.
Yes, yes, and more or less it is qualifying part.
Yes,
So,
sir.
so until unless you will not qualify, it's no purpose to go for
It's no
part two.
purpose to read these things. If
Uh,
one is perfect in this QRE, they can absolutely find to go and study for phase two, sir. But if this doesn't they don't have much confidence in dealing with QRE part, they need to more focus. They need to give more focus on this QR.
okay, Chandrakant. Now this question is from my side. Actually, this question is being asked to me from many students, especially who are
Yes,
preparing
sir.
for the civil services. But they are very practical, and they know that in civil services every year around
Sir,
4 to 5 lakh people
sorry,
do
sir.
appear. Yeah.
Actually, the video got stuck in between. Can you repeat the question?
Okay, okay. So I
Yes, sir.
was asking every year, a lot of students who come for the preparation for the UPSC exam, they come to
Yes, sir.
me and they generally do ask, Ki, sir, you know that UPSC is a kind of what, maybe some chance will be there because 4 to 5 lakh people are appearing and there are very less number of the seats. So I want to go for some kind of job security. Where should I go? So before I'll answer, they'll answer, ki, sir, I'm thinking about to prepare grade B. I'm thinking about to
Yes, sir.
prepare for the grade B because it's a kind of most prestigious job after civil services, or at a
Yes, sir.
point of time it is also come to along with the civil services. So but I have an anxiety and fear. I have an anxiety and fear ki my attention is going to divert whether I'm able to cope up with these two or not. So what you will suggest for those students who are preparing for the UPSC, but they want some sort of kind of career security even before starting the UPSC preparation, or they are preparing for the UPSC but they want to go for grade B also? What you will suggest?
Sir, I strongly recommend if any student willing for the job security, RBI Grade B is the best option available for the UPSC preparing candidates. Because RBI Grade B, it is a very good service when compared to some of the services after this Indian Revenue Service. Like in UPSC, they offer around 20 services. In that last 15 services, you can compare with the RBI. So RBI will offer much more privileges than last 15 services of UPSC, like Indian Postal Service, Indian Trade Service. When compared with this, RBI offers much more privileges, salaries, and then you can study abroad if you are interested in economy or finance sector. These privileges are not there when in those services. So I will strongly recommend if one needs to have a job security, prepare for RBI grade. And
Okay.
then how they can manage these two means. So, if one prepared for the UPSC, they are automatically prepared for the 60 to 70% of the phase two syllabus of RBI Grade B. That is for sure. So they need to cover this remaining 30%. Remaining 30%, it comes from the ESI current affairs, sir. Mostly ESI current affairs are such that in RBI they are mostly asking about the facts, like how much funds have been disbursed by the government for PM Kisan in this quarter, like that they are asking. So these things can be covered by taking a good quality material, uh, such as crack grade B is very much helpful there. And then the next important part is management. In management section, that crack grade B material is sufficient, sir. And then
Okay.
these things for phase two, sir. And for phase one, they need to do with this QRE part, sir. Like parallelly, like daily half an hour to 1 hour, it will be sufficient for cracking this RBI grade B, sir.
Okay. Okay. And one more little bit kind of related question, and that question is because in civil services we have a CSAT question paper.
Yes, sir.
So how CSAT preparation is going to help you in phase one, and how phase one preparation is going to help you in the CSAT?
Sir, mostly phase one preparation will help in the CSAT, sir. CSAT preparation won't help in the phase one,
Yes.
because CSAT is of qualifying nature. If one gets the 67 out of 200 marks, they will be qualified.
Ha, ha.
So though, like those who are preparing for CSAT, they are not preparing for phase one, sir. That
Hmm.
is for sure. So if one needs to prepare a phase one thoroughly, means there the English is different, sir. Here the English is different. First of all, their
Hmm.
English is more of comprehension type. Here the English
Hmm.
is like reading comprehension, jumbled sentences, sentence correction. Everything is there in RBI. So if one needs to prepare for the QRE, it
Hmm.
is better like taking multiple tests will give them the practice, sir. That is the only solution available for QRE.
Okay.
And
Okay.
then the what else they can do is they can prepare a formula sheet for the quants. That
Hmm.
is the thing, sir. And in reasoning section,
Hmm.
they can focus more on the syllogism, uh,
Hmm.
then data sufficiency, analytical reasoning,
Hmm.
ranking, blood relations. These will take less time, and answer will have certainty. Like it will be sure shot correct. Lastly, they can approach the puzzle section of reasoning. Sir. These
Okay.
things will help in improving the scores of QRE.
Okay. So let's take another question from our people who are right now in the chat box. Aditya Prakash Tiwari is asking, please suggest how to cover current affairs and how to approach about it, as there are many material out there in the market and it's become very difficult to be selective about finance current affairs. I think most of the part you have answered. He is emphasizing finance current affairs.
Okay, sir. Sir, mostly RBI will ask finance current affairs from the RBI circulars only, sir. Most of the finance current affairs will derive from that. But if one needs to cover these finance current affairs, I think crack grade B material is sufficient, sir.
Okay. Okay.
There is nothing to go specifically and read some 100 pages booklet or like that, sir.
Okay. Pushpinder is asking how much marks you got in RBI.
Sir, I got 276, 215 in return,
Hmm.
61 in interview.
61 in interview.
61 in interview out of 75.
Huh. He is asking about age. Already is answered. Okay. So next question is considering finance and management differently, and ESI huge part. How to prepare subjective and descriptive part together?
Sir, I
Shubhajit is
said
asking.
yes, sir. Descriptive part can be prepared like topic wise. Like
Hmm.
for
Topic wise.
ESI, as I said earlier, there are 10 to 12 topics will be there in finance and management. Also, some 10 to 12 topics. If
Hmm.
one can cover those 10 to 12 topics specifically, they can answer those easily. Four questions which are available, which will be given to the student easily, sir.
Okay. So actually, Shubhajit, I have one more. Means is same thing. What I just want to tell you. You see, they have given syllabus point wise. When people or student who or the aspirants who are preparing for this exam, they'll see the management syllabus. They'll start searching for the management book, right? From which book or which material I will go for. Rather than go for entire management, you should go for a topic wise topic, one topic, another topic, then another topic. If you will follow this approach as Chandrakant also followed the same kind of the approach, it is definitely going to help you. Okay, so topic wise approach should be there. Keep the syllabus in your mind and topic wise start preparing. It will help you. Okay, so next question. No buffering sir. Age जानकर क्या? Okay, fine. How many years? How many years of preparation you did?
Sir, for RBI grade B, I did only 1 month preparation, sir. Hardly,
1 month preparation.
hardly. 7 to 10 days before phase one and 10 to 15 days for phase two. That's it.
Good, good. Divyansh is asking, what was your optional in civil services exam? Is there any optional that help in this both exam?
I think in RBI there is no optional, no, sir.
Actually, he is trying to ask if whatever the optional. Actually, Chandrakant was having anthropology optional, and anthropology optional, and what RBI do ask in either in the part one or part two, it is
Okay.
completely unrelated, right?
If
So
if one needs
actually,
to take the optional, I think economy is the closest, sir. Economy
So I
optional is
think
the closest.
yes, yes. He's asking ki if I'll take some optional, is that optional is going to help me in the grade B. So Divyanshu, until unless you have an economics as an optional, it is not going to help. Means other options are not even related or nearby to the grade B syllabus. So it doesn't matter what optional you have in civil services preparation. It's not going to impact, it's not going to impact, because sometimes help and impact are the two different things. Help means what ki I'll prepare one thing and it is going to help me in the preparation of other thing, right? This is kind of the help. And impact is what ki I am preparing this thing, maybe because of this preparation I'm not able to focus, I'm not able to focus on this thing. So example is in front of you. Chandrakant is having an option of anthropology. Anthropology is completely unrelated to what RBI do ask either in phase one or even in phase two. Completely unrelated, right? But still, there is no impact of his optional on his RBI grade B preparation. So you need not to worry because of any impact. And again, it's not going to help until unless you have an economics optional in civil services preparation. And remember, economics is generally considered one of the difficult optional. That is actually a myth, but still, public perception is like that. It is one of the difficult optional. So whatever optional you have or you want to take optional, don't need to worry ki how I can relate with the grade B. Just all general studies preparation and grade B is going to sufficient. Optional is not required to be put in the domain of preparation of RB grade B. Okay. So, how to revise? Another questions coming. How to revise?
Yes, sir. Sir, for revision part, I would suggest to revise specifically, sir. Like there is not much time available before the exam to revise the entire ESI part and finance and management part. So for revision part, I will say that uh, for the ESI, the important things like the schemes, as I already said, schemes, indices, and GDP data are the most important. They can have these things on the fingertips, like they can underline on the PDF while preparing day before exam. They can go through the numbers. That's it, sir. And for the finance and management part, they can see the important themes, sir. So, as I told earlier also, these
Hmm.
regulatory bodies, PPP, financial inclusion, and then inflation, union budget, and in
Okay.
management, leadership, communication. These things they can revise, sir. And
Okay.
then they can add some things like in financial inclusion they can add uh, Jandan Yojana, Jandan Aadhar Mobile, these schemes and all they can add, sir. And in PPP also there are certain developmental models they can add. And then in PPP they can talk about the expressways being built between the Delhi and Allahabad. These things also they can talk, sir.
Okay.
These things will present them the current perspective, so it will add as a value addition mark.
Okay. So, another question. Basically, maybe that question is not asked you, or maybe they have asked this question to you. One question, and it is one of the general question for interview preparation. So, Vikulp is asking, ki, sir, how to explain about gaps? Because they will ask about gap after completing your education, and right now you are in interview, maybe some 1 2 or 3 years gap is there. So
Yes.
how to explain that gaps? Before you'll start, I'll request to all of student, be patient. I'm taking question one by one, right? And I'll go in the sequence only. right? So sequence wise, I'll take your question, and Chandrakant is going to answer. Have a patience, and maybe what you have asked, probably he is answering, even whatever the answer he is giving, in that answer itself he is going to give the answer. Okay, so please wait for your turn. I'll put the question one by one in the sequence order. Yes, Chandrakant, please explain how to tell them, or how to convince them कि whatever the gap was there, it was because of, means convince, how to convince them.
Yes, sir. Sir, I was 2017 passed out, sir, from
2017 pass out.
electronics and communication engineering.
Yes, please.
So, as someone asked my age earlier, I was 25 years old, sir. In 2017, I was 20 years old, so I was not eligible for any exam. So, I appeared in UPSC. In 2018 was my first attempt in UPSC. So, uh, in the 2021 interview, it was 4 years, sir. 4 years after my passed out. So, in interview panel, the question might be the probable question, sir. Mostly, the interview panel will ask why you have 4 years of gap between your graduation and now. Sir, that thing you need to convince that I had prepared for UPSC, and then I went to interviews 2 times. I said like this, sir. I went to interviews 2 times, and I thought that RBI is a very good job. It will have the social prestige. So I want to appear for the RBI exam, and then you can quote the lines which is there in the RBI's preamble, sir. So like
Okay.
you like that functioning and all that will
That
impress.
was very nice. That's very nice
Yes, sir.
presence of mind. Good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah.
So you
So
like these things, uh, and then the gap doesn't matter, sir. I can tell that uh, in this year interview, RBI has selected the people who are having 8 years gap, also some 7 years gap students, also there 8 7 8 years gap, and then those people who are passed out recently, like 1 or 2 years before, also they were not selected, sir. So
okay.
interview is basically like how you present before the interview panel, and how confident you are in expressing your views. It is not merely question and answer session, sir. Something you can express your views there. Like views plays a more importance, sir.
Okay. So maybe some people are here who are who are preparing for their NABARD interview also. And few days back, I have conducted one session how to prepare for the NABARD interview. Interview is always a personality test, and they will ask this question about gap because they know that ki either you are going to choke or you are going to be nervous. And when you will be nervous, how you are going to answer in that situation, right? So I always emphasize, and I always tell to all of you, whatever the truth is there, you can tell. It is all about how you are presenting your situation, right? How you are presenting your situation, with how determined and confident you are, and how determined you are to be the part of Reserve Bank of India's job, right? So that matters a lot. For example, see, he has went for the presence of minds, and he used the preamble part of Reserve Bank of India, right? So these kind of the things are going to help. So if you have a gap, right, obvious, it is but obvious you are going to have a gap. If you will prepare for some exam, it will take some time, because even the selection process will take 6 to 8 month minimum. So anyways, there will be a some gap, right? So you can honestly tell them, ki because of this I have a gap, but right now, as he told, ki what, I am completely focused on this job. I have given the interview in the past for the UPSC exam, but I am completely focused on this job, and I'm very determined because of social prestige and income wise, each and everything is the one of the best, right? So this is the way how you can go for it. Okay. Now, next question. Okay. Hi, how Avinash is asking, how is work pressure in RBI? Is it manageable to study with work on daily basis? How was your daily routine while working?
Sir, as far as work pressure in RBI, I'm not worked in RBI, sir, but through my friends I came to know that it is a very good job, sir. Whatever the jobs available in India, RBI is one of the best job for sure. Like the work pressure is very minimum. They are able to complete within 5 hours the whole day task which was assigned to them. So it is the best job when comes to work pressure. And then the second question, uh, what is the second question?
I miss work. He's asking about work pressure and how you are managing your daily routine.
Daily routine for preparations.
Yes, actually, these two questions are related. He thought that you worked in the RBI, and apart from working in the RBI, you prepare for the civil services. So, in that
No, sir.
context, he's asking actually.
Actually, I parallelly given the exam. Like I given RBI and UPSC. So
Yeah. So
I
Avinash,
didn't.
I think Avinash is working somewhere, and that's why he is little bit concerned about the pressure. The best part of banking job is what? The best part of banking job is you don't come back to your home with work pressure. Work pressure, you can leave that organization, even whatever the organization you are working, right? You should not come with that work pressure in your mind when you will leave the office premises. You should be like what? You should be like two different person. One person who is working in that organization, whether it is bank or any organization, and another person who is preparing for grade B. So you have to split your personality or kind of mindset you have. Only then you will be able to completely focus on this exam. And for working people who are preparing for the grade B, there is no kind of weekends. You should keep this thing out of your mind that there is a kind of weekend thing for you. You are preparing, right? You are preparing for the grade B, whatever the job you are doing, but you are preparing for the grade B. Then there is no meaning of what, uh, weekends. Weekends is for those people who are working but they are not preparing. What it means that you have to work extra hard on the weekends when there is a holiday, right? So you have to work hard. So in that way you can manage. And if you are working 6 to 8 hours job, for example, in bank 6 to 8 hours, then even if you will go and work daily 2.5 hour or 2 to 3 hours, you are able to find out in your daily routine apart from your job. I think it is going to work for you. What is your opinion, Chandrakant, in this
Sir, and
context?
then for working aspirants, I need to add something, sir.
Yeah, please.
Sir, those who are working, they can spare a half an hour daily. It is very minimum, sir. Half an hour, they will waste the time by watching some TV series or something. So they can spare a half an hour and can watch the good videos about the RBI, sir. Like in RBI, there is one topic like 2007 global financial crisis. Like if they type it in YouTube or any other like Google also, they will get good articles and good videos. So like that they can prepare one topic per day, like to like about inflation they can you go and search in the YouTube, they will get some content and then they can prepare. So it will help them to prepare like be topic by topic by topic, and then within 3 months they can able to cover the whole phase 2 syllabus, sir. And then for
Okay.
working aspirants, they need to prepare for the question in interview that why you are leaving the job, whether that job is stressful for you, and about the working profile of that candidate, sir. These three questions they need to prepare in for the interview.
Okay. Next question is from Divyanshu. Did you appear for the forest services exam?
No, sir. I actually qualified for it. I didn't given the mains. Actually, the RBI Grade B exam and Forest Service mains clashed. So I was
Okay.
not interested. I was not interested in Forest Service. So
You are not
I
interested in
applied.
forest services and you have given the preference to RBI grade B.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So he is asking, I have one question as a beginner, how to know what exam I can take initially. As a beginner, I want to ask how to know what exam I can take initially. At a time, how many exam I should prepare for. Means she is a beginner and she just want to ask what exam I should focus. Is apart from grade B, if I have to focus on any other exam, what exam I should focus apart from grade B?
Sir, uh, if one is preparing for grade B, they can able to write certain banking exams. Uh, the banking exams such as this SBI PO and all that NABARD also, if they can spend some time and go through the agricultural content for SEBI specifically this securities market content, if they can go through, they can write these all regulatory bodies exams and banking exams.
Okay.
And then if one is preparing for UPSC, they can write their own state PSC exams.
Mhm.
But they can, I think so, sir. Like if one is preparing for RBI,
Mhm.
my personal suggestion is that they can like prepare for the all regulatory exams parallelly, sir. So it
Hmm.
will give them the much more chances of selection.
Hmm.
If
Okay.
one wants to prepare UPSC additionally, they need to give hard work, sir. Like they need to put hard work for reading such huge materials as such as international relations, internal security, ethics.
Mhm.
These will take much amount of time, sir.
Hmm. 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 And next question is, I'm weak in maths. So Darshan is asking, I'm weak in maths, so will I be able to crack exam?
Sir, if one is weak in max, I think they need to decode their strategy. Like in max, there are some very in quant section, especially the max is used. In remaining sections, it's not that much relevant.
Hmm.
In quant section, they can decode like profit and loss,
Hmm.
uh, and then averages, mean values, number series. These things are very easy, sir. Like they don't need much mathematics to solve. So
Hmm.
I suggest that in quant section these things can be focused, and parallelly they need to increase their accuracy levels, and more attempts should be given in English as well as reasoning, sir. If they can cover the marks in these two sections and as well as GA section, they can cover they can get more than 60-55 marks. So if they can cover the marks of quant in these three sections, they can have a well chance of qualifying for phase two. In phase two, I think there is no relevance of max, sir.
Hmm. Okay. Okay. Next question is very interesting. Question is, IRS or RB grade B? Anish is asking,
Sir,
IRS or RB grade B?
sir, it
What
is
you will
very
choose?
tough. Yes, sir, it is very tough call. People choose depending on their own intentions, sir. Some people want to work.
Hmm.
Like in RBI, they are offering more salary. Some people want more salary than IRS. Some people want the
More
uh,
incentive.
Ashok Stamp. Uh, Ashok Stamp and all. For that, they will choose IRS, sir. It depends on people to people, sir. But
People to
I
people.
think below IRS, it is very much clear that people can safely choose the RBI grade B.
Below
For
IRS.
first below IRS. For first 5 to 6 services, it is first three services. It is clear, sir. IAS, IPS, IFS.
Hmm.
It is people will choose those three
Hmm.
than RBI grade B. For
Hmm.
IRS and IAAS, it is based on the people's intention whether to go for this or whether to go for that. I think they
Okay.
need to go for merits and demerits of everything, and then they need
Hmm.
to choose. But below these 5 to 6 services, it is clear that they can safely go for RBI grade.
RB grade B. Okay. So, gap question we already have taken. Next question is from Raj Anand, sir. How we can manage the fear of something is left, like how to manage the things this is left, or something like in this section economics or anything. Means basically his question is ki, as a
If
aspirant we always have a fear. If we are going for selective approach, we always have a fear ki this part I have not completed, only this part I have completed. So how to manage that fear? Means he is asking in this way.
Yes, sir. Sir, I think for the descriptive part, I can say it is easily, sir. If the question comes from, suppose if the question comes from the changing landscape in the banking sector,
Hmm.
if no, like if one has didn't read about it, then
Hmm.
one can link the changing landscape in the banking sector with the topics such as the payment banks,
Hmm.
small finance banks, how globalization is impacting the banking industry, such as Basel norm came into the picture,
Hmm.
and then money laundering came into the picture. So,
Hmm.
like the management also changed from 1991 to the 2010, 2021, and then this privatization of banks is happening,
Hmm.
and these things, if even if they don't read also, they can think on the syllabus lines, and then they can think some 5 to 6 points easily, sir. This
Hmm.
thing they can help to write the good descriptive answer. But
Okay.
when it comes to the objective, in objective section, RBI will ask very specifically, sir. So
Okay.
for objective portion, the student has to read at least basic reading has to be there, sir.
Hmm.
That will be sufficient. For descriptive thing, the students can think, for example, in ESI section, the students can think on the lines of poverty, sustainable development, agriculture, manufacturing, globalization. On these lines, if any question is asked, so if
Hmm.
they think on poverty, whether it is going to impact on poverty or not, they can frame one point. Whether it is increase or decrease the employment, they can frame one point.
Okay.
So in these lines, they can form the points for descriptive.
Okay. So Gaurav is asking, okay, Gaurav, this question you can find the detail in the notification regarding the age relaxation and all. Then Raman is asking for phase two crack grade B will cover 100%. We can blindly trust on this. Chandrakant already told that it is going to work for him. So you can trust, no issues. Gap related question already answered. So, what panel asked in the interview? Please ask such question in his answer. He is asking about some questions, any interesting question or something uh, different question which you have not expected in the interview they have asked to you in RBI interview.
So what we guessed only mostly people will ask, sir, in interview. The questions like
Okay.
they asked about why you are coming from, why you prepared for UPSC and then coming to the RBI. That is expected question. And then
Hmm.
the question like Afghanistan Taliban crisis is going on at that time. So
Hmm.
they
Hmm.
asked about since I prepared for UPSC, they asked about what are the implications on India if Taliban comes to power in Afghanistan. So I explained it,
Okay.
and then they asked some of the current fights themes which are there in that current week only. On the week I had the interview, so
Hmm.
on the week before the interview, students has to read the newspaper thoroughly, sir. At least business news.
Okay. Okay. Why you have chosen RBI preparation rather than SEBI and NABARD? All our options are available. Specifically, you went for the RBI. One student is asking why you went for
Sir,
RBI.
actually, I
Hmm.
yes, sir, I choose an RBI randomly, sir. Like
Hmm.
I know that RBI is the highest paying job, and then it is the grade B
Hmm.
level entry. Whereas in
Okay.
SEBI and NABARD, it is grade B level entry is very rare, sir. It is mostly of grade A level entry.
Hmm.
And then RBI grade B, there is one advantage that you have to prepare very less, if
Hmm.
especially if you are an UPSC aspirant. For
Hmm.
SEBI and NABARD, there are syllabus is changing with respect to their own regulatory domain. So I choose an RBI.
And what I believe that once student are preparing for the civil services, especially civil services aspirants, they are more familiar with the RBI grade B rather than SEBI and NABARD exam.
Yes, sir. Because syllabus one needs to
Yes.
study very less, sir.
Ha,
Like if
ha.
I think in SEBI there are various things like costing, companies act. These things are
Hmm.
there, sir.
Okay.
But I never applied to various regulatory institutions, sir. I applied only for
Mhm.
RBI.
Okay. 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 Let's see more means because more other questions are more or less you already answered. So let's see go if any other some different question.
Yes.
He is asking one question is coming strategy for interview, and especially
Sir,
if somebody is coming from BCom or some background. Have they asked any question from your background?
no, sir.
No. So
If one is coming from economics background, there might be a chance, sir. But if one is coming from other disciplines, they are not asking anything.
okay.
Sir, strategy for interview is simple, sir. For basic understanding, one needs to read the document RBI working on functions. That is the basic document. And then the second document
Hmm.
is not second document. In RBI website, there will be updation every week, sir. On every day basis, they will update. I think you
Hmm.
need to go through the headlines of that. If it is relevant to your exam, then
Hmm.
you have a glance over that. What is the news happening? And the third one is your personal profile, sir. Like
Hmm.
if you are working somewhere, there might be a possible question like what is your working profile, and
Hmm.
whether you are interested or not interested in the working profile, like that. If you are working, there might be a question. If you are not working, there might be a question why there is a gap in your between your studies and then the current year. And then the final thing is one needs to aware of the current affairs of that week in which the candidate is appearing for the interview.
Okay. Raman
That's
is,
it, sir.
is
These four things.
okay. 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 So Raman actually he already answered this question. For phase two, we can rely completely on crack grade B course. Yes, he already answered this question, and he told he took course. I think 10 to 12 days before the exam, right?
Yes, sir. I think
Yes.
Ashok sir has the screenshot also, sir. I think
Okay. Okay. So
when I
he
paid the fee.
Okay. So, see, my dear, all of you who are aspiring for this exam of RB Grade B, you can completely rely on us for phase two exam. No need to worry. We will take care of it, and definitely we will make sure that you can crack this part two, as well as we will also help you in the interview part also. Okay. And I think largely you have answered all of the questions. Means there is no as such question. Instead of getting 120 rank in UPSC, why he didn't get IPS or IFS was his choice was IRS. I think you got this IPS, right, Chandrakant?
I am IPS, sir. Currently, I am IPS.
So he is an IPS. He didn't choose the IRS. He chose for IPS, and Chandrakanth Reddy, B. Chandrakanth Reddy, IPS.
Yes, sir.
So it's a great feeling, and it's a great session with you. I enjoyed
Yes, sir.
this session with you, and I hope students will get benefited with this session. If anyone who is not able to watch in the live, the session is going to be remain available on our YouTube channel. They can watch
Yes, sir.
this video, very informative video. He in the very beginning he explained step by step how you can go for phase one, how you can go for phase two, how you can go for interview. Each and everything he already explained. All the dimensions and aspects of the preparation he discussed in the detail, including dilemma of UPSC and RBI. Right. So I'm very thankful to you to join this session. And right
Thank
now
you, sir.
we are going to wind up this session. So Chandrakant, thank you very much for joining this session.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.